Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. If you're new, if you're not new, welcome back. I'm Christine, and today I wanted to show you guys how I create my calendar for my A5 budget book. And so this is what the finished product is pretty much going to look like, and I've had some requests for that, so I wanted to just show you guys how to do that. So for this tutorial, you are going to need Canva. It's the fastest and easiest way to accomplish this. And also you're going to want to get some sticker paper. So this tutorial is not for people who have crickets and silhouettes and stuff like that, because I don't have one yet. This is for someone who, wants this calendar, kind of wants it straight to the point, doesn't want to have to learn a whole new, set of machinery to get this done, but still wants this calendar. So you want Canva and you want some sticker paper and of course a printer. So I'm going to leave a link for the sticker paper that I use in the description box below. And let's just get into it. It's not what it looks like. It's actually pretty simple overall. So you want to go over to canva.com. Okay. Now, as you can see, I have a pro account. And so I just want you to bear that in mind. If you see that there's a feature or option that's not available to you, or you see a little gold crown to the left or the right of it, that means it is a pro feature, and that you will need to have a pro plan in order to access that feature. Because I already have a pro plan, I can't tell you what part of this process involves a pro feature. So I just want you to be aware of that. So the first thing you want to do is head over to create a design. Now you can also come down here where it says custom size, but I don't normally do that. I'll go to create a design, and then down here I'll see where it says custom size, and I'll click on that. A dialog box is going to pop up asking you what the width and the height is going to be. And before you enter anything in, you want to switch it to inches, because if you do anything else, like try to type in the measurements that I'm going to give you before you do this, when you switch to inches, it's going to convert it to what 100 pixels would be in inches, which is hardly anything. So you want to switch it to inches, and then you're going to make the width 5.5 inches. You're going to make the height 3.5 inches. So when I measured my book to see how big I needed to make the calendar, I think I got like 4.3 or 4.5, and then, like 3.5. But I realized because I'm printing it out on sticker paper and I'm going to be using my paper cutter or scissors to cut it, I need to give myself some wiggle room so that I can cut it. And if I cut a little bit too far in, then it's not going to completely ruin it, forcing me to start over. So my recommendation is to make the width 5.5 inches and the height 3.5 inches. So once you've done that, you can go ahead and click on create new design. So now here you are in your workspace. It's completely blank. And this is where our calendar is going to live. So the good news about this is that you really only have to do this part once. And then after that, it is just going to be about copying the pages by clicking the little duplicate page button, changing the colors and the dates around, but the size will be correct, and the spacing will overall be correct. So I want you to go to Elements, and as you see, it has a bunch of different shapes and graphics and things you can use. But if you scroll down far enough, you're going to see a section called Tables, and you're going to click on See All. Now, as you can see, there's a lot of different styles, and I'll let you season this to taste as far as what you want your calendar to look like. But for me, I prefer to have all the boxes shaded because it gives me some flexibility as far as applying the colors. So I'm just going to choose this blue one, and it's automatically going to add 3 columns and 3 rows. So if you hover over the columns and the rows, you'll see that there's a little bubble with 3 dots following you. And that is where your table options are going to be. Now, if you've ever used Microsoft Word or Excel or PowerPoint, then this might look familiar to you. You're going to click on the 3 bubbles above any of these columns, and you're going to add a column. And you're going to continue to do that until you have 7 columns, 1 for each day. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Perfect. And now you're going to do the same thing for the rows. There's 3 week rows here. So I'm going to go ahead and add 2 more. Give me a second. Add row. Add row. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now, if there's an easier way to do that, I haven't discovered it. This is what I did and what I continue to do. And so now I just want you to click on this little cursor and center it, and you'll know it's centered because you'll see those purple guidelines locking it in for you. And then while you have the entire table selected, I want you to go over to the colored, and I want you to make everything white. Now again, this is how I personally do it. If you don't want it to be white, then it doesn't have to be white. So now the next thing I want you to do is go back to elements. I'm just going to scroll down a little bit. See if I can see it. Oh, there it goes. And then you're going to go to lines and shapes. Now, this square is what we're looking for. You might have to click see all to have it pop up, or it might be here under, I guess, commonly used shapes. Either way, I want you to add a square. And at this point, you can choose the color by clicking at this box up here. I'm going to choose this reddish shade. As you see, it's part of my branding. And then I'm actually going to just take it to the upper left corner and drag it and fill up the entire page. So you're like, where's my calendar? We're going to talk about that. Let's show you right now. So now you have this filling up the workspace, and then you have the calendar underneath. So you're going to go to position up here in the upper right hand corner, and you're going to send it all the way to the back, not backwards, which can work in some cases, but sending it straight to the back makes it the lowest layer, and then your calendar pops up on top. So now I'm just going to take the cursor and I'm going to fill up the space with the calendar. Now it's up to you. You're going to have to kind of like, you can eyeball it, which, you know, as a designer, I'm pretty good at eyeballing it to get it leveled up. But you can also select the background, hold Shift, or I think it's Command or Control on a Mac, and then also select the calendar. And then you should be able to click position and center it both vertically and horizontally. And now it's just going to be about filling it in. So if you double click on any of the boxes, you can type in the days of the week. And of course, you can decide if you want a Monday start or a Sunday start. And you can do the same thing for the days. Now, here's one thing that I want to show you, which is how to get these calendar dates up in the upper right corner. So go ahead and select the entire calendar, and you can do that by kind of grabbing that little knob in the top left or any of the corners, and you'll see that purple outline kind of like encasing the whole thing, or which is what I would recommend for the days. What I'm trying to do, which does get a little tricky at times, is selecting the entire lower half. But for the purposes of this tutorial, I'm just going to hold down the shift button on Windows. I think it's Command on Mac. Forgive me if that's not the case. And you can select the first date and then hold Shift or Command and select the last square on the table. And now everything except for the days of the week is highlighted. And now there's two things you're going to do. First, you're going to align the text so that it's on the right side or the left side, depending on what you want. Again, remember, you are seasoning this to your taste. And then you're going to click on the spacing icon. So it's two icons over from the alignment icon. And once you click on it, you're going to see it has letter and line spacing, which you don't need to mess with. What we're looking for is the vertical alignment. And you're going to click the first one. So that will bring everything up to the upper right or left corner. And so once you do that, it's going to be just about filling it in. And let's see. Okay, so you can do a number of things at this point. You can select different areas and control the size, the font. Like right now, this is set to Canva Sans, and but you can set it to a thicker font if you want. Change the size of it depending on what you need. And change the colors of these backgrounds behind the dates. And let's just change this to a darker purple. Oops, I just changed the the font. Change the background to a darker purple. So I had to select everything, and then instead of going here, which is the text color, I had to go here for the color of the element itself. So let's say this is our calendar, right? So you're going to go to share when you're finished, when you're ready. And you want to download this document, and you want to make sure that it's a PDF, which is best for printing. Now, I do sometimes include the crop marks and bleed. That will put little black lines on the corners of the image so that you can line up your scissors or your paper cutter. You can flatten it, which saves space, and you don't need to worry about including notes because there are none. And I personally have found that leaving it in the RGB color type versus the CMYK, which is typical for printing, gives you a more accurate color to what you've picked while you were in the program. So once you do that, you can go ahead and download it, and then you're going to come up with this. And as you can see, it has the little crop marks here, and then you're going to print it. Now let me just show you very quickly how you're going to print this. So let's say you want to print this calendar. Let's see if it'll come up. Okay, so you want to make sure that it is the actual size. You don't want it to be fit, You don't want it to be a custom scale. You kind of want it to be the actual size, though I have found that shrink oversized pages also works. It kind of centers it, and in my experience it hasn't messed with the measurements. But for now, go ahead and choose actual size, and you can choose landscape or portrait depending on how you want to save the scraps or how you prefer to cut it, and then you can just go ahead and print it out. So that's it, you guys. And then from there you can always go ahead and duplicate the page. Once I get out of this, duplicate the page and make your months. And then what I like to do is I will, label the pages. I'm definitely like a labeler, and this is part of the organization for me. So when you are 11 months in and you get ready to download, you can choose which page you want to print. So I hope this helped you guys. I hope those of you who were requesting this can find that this was useful. And if you enjoyed this video, I would definitely appreciate if you gave it a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more planning content. You can follow me on Instagram at HoneyStyleEnjoy. And other than that, I hope you guys have a beautiful, beautiful, wonderful rest of your day. And I will see you in the next one.